Okay, this podcast is all about what the hell is going on in F1. Why are these stupid cars like pins in a bowling alley? Or computer says no. And then Max, what the hell happened? He went to a whole other racing series. This is like when Michael Jordan decided to be a baseball player for some time and it sucked balls and he had to come back. I see this happening exactly that way, by the way. All these elite athletes need to dominate everything. Why? Anyway. Let's get on this. Okay. These F1 teams are worth billions of dollars. Haas F1 team is, I think, the lowest valued F1 team at the moment, and it's worth over $1 billion. Anything worth over $1 billion is crazy. These are cars. You know how much it costs to run a GT3 team? Maybe 2 million. Max Verstappen Racing bought, I think, the current GT3 team that he's driving for like $2 million. That's million with an M. That's what most racing teams cost, or whatever. Cars are not worth billions of dollars. These cars should not be exploding or crashing into walls like pins in a goddamn bowling alley. What the hell is going on? Okay, since I spoke about Max, let's talk Max. Max is like he's having his Michael Jordan moment right now. You know, remember in the 90s or I think early 2000s when Michael Jordan just randomly decided to be a baseball player. Just I want to be a baseball player now. I want to dominate that sport. Why? Why? You are a god in basketball. Why would you ever go to baseball? It's stupid. Come back, buddy. And he came back and he dominated again or something. I don't know. They made a whole documentary on Netflix about it. It's a awesome. What's the Last Dance? Worth to watch. Seinfeld shows up in it. I don't know why, but it's cool. It's cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Okay. Tangent aside, Max Verstappen did go into the GT series. I know it's called GT3 or whatever. They're basically real cars, stock cars, boosted up to be racing cars, essentially. And they go into something called the Green Hell, which is the Nürburgring racing. I don't know why it's called the Green Hell, but the entire news was Max Verstappen dominates the Green Hell. Anyway, so he went into the race. It started out crazy. Then he won the race and he lost the race. Okay. He won the race. Okay. First of all, nobody cares about this stupid series. Only dumb nerds with no, basement nerds are the only ones who care about this stuff. None of these people have ever had girlfriends or whatever. They had girl. I don't. Which what I'm saying is nobody care about the stupid series. And Max shows up and he's like a god amongst men in this place. He did a great job. He did his classic Max Verstappen overtake. It was amazing to watch my boy absolutely rip them apart. And apparently there are like other racers in here. It's like random white cars and red, like 100 cars at the same time. I don't know whether it was, I don't know what it was. All I know is Max did good. And he was praised like a god. And there was a famous photo where Max's car, GT3 car, is right there. And everybody's surrounding him like he's some sort of a messiah for GT3. Regardless of the racing, Max looks like a messiah. And Max did great. Everybody's like, oh, appreciate Max. Look at Max overtake. He overtakes some dude named Haas, by the way. No relation to the other Haas, but whatever. It was fun. And Max took him over, and that was it. And I was like, oh, great. Max did great. And Max was like being, side-eyeing F1, saying, hey, check this out. This is real racing. And the others are not good, whatever. He did his whole shtick about F1. He's gonna keep bitching about it until he gets a good car, that's for sure. Yeah, he did great. And then they got disqualified. I mean, what? Apparently, they used 7 pairs of tires where they were only supposed to use 6. And I don't know how they screwed that up, but that is like a big blunder because you cannot use more tires than the allocated sum. That's stupid. In the qualifying round or somewhere, use 7 pairs of tires. And yeah, that's a huge advantage, buddy. He won by like a minute or something. Not him, the whole team. It's like there were like 3 drivers at the same time. They take laps. So how did he win by a minute was crazy, but then they saw and yeah, basically he got disqualified, was it? I guess they got to race again. So this whole thing is like a qualifying round to race the big race or something like that. And this is not 24 hours. I think it was just like a few hours. Anyway, lots of people saw it. I think this is the first time the GT series even had these many viewers. They had thousands and millions of viewers or something. Yeah, good race, bad situation with Max. Did it great, but they screwed up. So yeah, he won and he got disqualified. Now, speaking of GT racing, I can see why Max likes this. So GT racing has a lot of obvious, trickery. Obviously, there's a lot of fuckery. Cars will be made better and worse, and engines will be tweaked, and everybody has to sort of, spread their wings and show off their cars. Most of these cars are basically regular, high quality racing cars, altered for the racing track, basically. The goal is to get as much real world data as possible, and for the, car companies and the rest is basic. How do I say this? They're more real world cars than F1 cars, and but there are still a lot of trickery, a lot of fuckery going on. But it's not as bad as the F1 situation right now. And one of the main reasons why Max would like it is because it's all about late braking. And any race out there, if you picked Forza or what was the other one, Gran Turismo, and you played all these races in different series, you win in the corners. That's how it works. You do not win in the straights. In the straights, you get a good pace. You can show some sort of dominance, or you get some get some good numbers, but you can't win on the straights. Everybody wins on the corners. It's all about when you brake and would you brake before the guy in front of you. And Max is all about late braking. He will hold that brake, just feather it until he has no choice, and then he brakes. And that's what elites do. They brake last and brake late, and that gives them a huge advantage because they've not lost a lot of momentum, and they can move forward. And the faster you brake, the slower your car is. Series, or the GT series, has the late braking technique on lock, and Max would obviously love it. And now in F1, it's different. Right now, the current F1 is all about managing tires and managing it's a lot of things to keep in your mind for a racer going around at insane speeds compared to what they used to do before. But that's not the problem. F1 guys have always had to do complicated math before they start a race or during a race and all. But what Max doesn't like is this bitch maneuver of the current F1 regulations, where less energy you use to push your car, the more it charges. Okay, that's an oversimplification. Basically, F1 is all about late braking. Like I explained before, late braking is everything in F1 and every other racing series. And late braking is how you win. But in the new F1, the power system, the energy for the car is separated. 50% of it is from the engine, and 50% of it comes from the energy of the battery. And the battery needs to be charged in order to get a boost, in order for the car to get a boost. And the only way you can charge the battery is by lifting and coasting. The more lifting and coasting you do on the F1 car, the more the F1 motor charges. So how it works is every time you hit the throttle, the battery uses energy, a motor spins forward, and energy is used to give the car momentum. Then, since the car is going very fast, you can use the car's momentum to keep going forward and not hit the throttle. And every time you lift your leg off the pedal, the motor spins backwards. So when you put your leg on the pedal and you hit the pedal, the motor spins forward, and every time you lift off the throttle, the motor spins backward. As the motor spins backward, it charges a battery. So when you hit the pedal, the charge is released. When you lift the pedal, or your leg off the pedal, the charge is gained. The motor charges. So basically, you have to know that the more you press the throttle, the less charge you have. The more you use your momentum and lift and coast, more charge you get. The F1 driver gets more charge. And the best way to get a lot more charge is by lifting and coasting in the easiest parts, which is the corners. Because if you lift and coast on the straights, you're not going to get any speed. You're going to lag behind quick. So in the straights, you can't do anything. You got to use the engine, and you got to use the energy of the car and keep moving. And when there is a turn, you can always lift and coast and brake. Braking loses some momentum, but if you try to balance this momentum without braking and without hitting the accelerator pedal, you get a charge in the battery. Your battery charges. And this charge can be instantly released as a boost to the car whenever you need it. So that's why all these new cars seem to have huge boosts the moment they come out of the turn. And nobody else has mastered this like Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Again, proving the fact that these guys are extraordinary drivers and they're made for these technical regulations. I think Hamilton is going to have a wonderful season this season. Hopefully, Ferrari doesn't screw it up. So, what's happening is that. So, basically, every time they turn, they get their battery charges and they can release a charge immediately when they need it. And in order to refill it, they have to dissipate the existing charge. And the more interesting ways you use this charge, the better your outcome would be. So that's the whole thing about charges. And Max is the exact opposite of this. Max is all about hitting the throttle as hard as possible in the turns and in the straights, and essentially try not to lift your leg off the throttle at all. That's his whole goal. Whereas this whole era is all about lifting and coasting, and that's just the antithesis of Max Verstappen, and he hates it. And again, as I'm sure if you give him a good car, he'll find a way to get it to the podium and he'll stop bitching. It's still, I can see why Max doesn't like the situation. So that was all about the battery charging. Essentially, every time you lift and coast, the battery charges, and every time you hit the throttle, the charge is dissipated, and you got to recharge every time in order to get a nice boost. The less you recharge, the less boost you get, and you got to manage as well. Okay, now that's that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what is going on with these F1 cars. These teams are worth billions of dollars. Okay, the lowest valued team is the Haas team, and they're worth $1.5 billion. I mean, little over that or something. Regardless, it's over $1 billion. It's insane. And then there's Aston Martin. It's shit. It's worth 3 point something billion. It's worth 3 billion, over $3 billion, and they're this trash. This dumb tractor, this vibrating, stupid tractor on wheels is completely embarrassing. All the extraordinary amount of work they put into it's embarrassing F1. It's like a slap in the face at F1. This stupid team should figure out their shit or pack their bags and get the hell out. They have destroyed Jordan's legacy. They have destroyed Force India's legacy. And now they're just here just wasting our life. This is what happens when unserious idiots come in and ruin F1. This is like a team that does not deserve F1. What the shit, man? Figure your shit out. Anyway, now there's tangent over. Okay, cars. What's going on? Mainly, it's a weight issue. Turns out the average car is over 16 kgs above the requirement. And guess who has done the weight reduction accurately? Guess who's got the best weight? No, it's not Mercedes. You would think it's Mercedes. Look how good they are. You think it's Mercedes. No, and it's not Ferrari. It's Alpine. Somehow, Flavio and his barrage of blue and pink idiots have figured out how to manage the weight. That mixed with a bulletproof engine has given them some serious advantage. I hope they're not stupid enough to waste Gasly's life and they figure this shit out. Give the man a good car. He's dying for the next podium. Come on, look at him. He's begging. You should have seen... Remember 2024? His reaction, Gasly's reaction, the moment he hit the podium was legendary. He's dying for it. Anyway, please give him a good car, Alpine. So yeah, the weight management is a big issue. Most others don't have, nobody has good weight. The worst obviously is Williams. Williams has one of the worst weights, and that's why they're dying. And the best is Alpine, and all the others are somewhere in between. All of them are heavy right now. That's how all race regulations start. Everybody will be heavy, and eventually they figure it out. And once this happens, we can see some better opportunities. Now, that is one issue with the car. The next issue is the fact that this era, or at least this year, will be the engineer's era. It's all about computers, battery management. It's all about software talking to hardware cleanly. And the better your software talks to your hardware, the better your results would be. Nobody's done it better this season than Mercedes. Mercedes made the best engine. They're always good at making bulletproof engines. Right now, they've figured out the best engine which works well with batteries and providing power to the engine. They figured out the balance right. They got everything right. These engines are amazing. Okay, but then there is Ferrari. Ferrari's got the aero right. They have also figured out these engines great. What Ferrari has done is they have managed their engines enough to get a boost right at the front. That's why they're getting such amazing starts, but they're not able to keep the boost. They keep lagging back after a while. Mercedes has built the car for pace. Basically, they don't get a huge boost right up front, but eventually the car has enough pace that they'll be great on the straights, they'll be great on the corners. The engine is much more robust compared to the other one. Ferrari uses the battery to get a boost right away, and Mercedes doesn't do that. Mercedes keeps it lower and then increases by pace, and then they quickly catch up. And once they catch up, you cannot catch them. They're gone forever. So that's Mercedes. They figured out these regulations, right? And what about the rest of the people? What is going on with the others? What the hell is going on with McLaren? How did this team win two world champions in a row? They have maybe one of the best driver lineups seen in McLaren's recent history. I mean, since Senna and Prost, I think these are the best ones. And what the shit, man? What is going on? What are you doing? So here's what's going on. Andreas and Ferrari have serious allegations on Mercedes. And when you can't win, you just pick fights. So first it was the compression ratio issue, that they're compressing the engine, whatever. Basically, they got more speed through compression ratios, and then that was disproven. Then now they're saying it's a software glitch. So whatever it is, the FIA has told, no, they're all completely in the regulations, nobody's cheating. McLaren keeps saying Mercedes is cheating, and that's not the case. But what it looks like, the information from the investigation looks like, Mercedes has followed the rules, given them the best engine, but they did some sneaky things. Are Mercedes being sneaky? Yes, technically yes. So first, McLaren being McLaren, they've always done this. They write letters. They have problems with everybody. They do this McLaren stick where they'll go to the they'll go to the FIA for anything. And this moment, first it was the compression ratio thing with Mercedes. The engines compress better or something like that, and they have some advantages. And FIA said no, that's all hogwash. Go away. And now they've gone with a new thing saying hardware and software does not marry well. So FIA basically said get lost. That's not the case. There is no such issue. But the devil is in the details. Okay. The more you observe it, you realize a works team has a huge advantage. And it's always been the case, always, forever. And computers of like the modern era of F1 is almost entirely computers. Everything is electricals. So it's obvious that your software and hardware have to talk to each other well. And who will do this better than a works team? Works teams have, if you observe whoever is doing well, it's mostly either the Mercedes engine team or the works team. So what has happened is, as Mercedes built this hardware, the engine, they figured out exactly how to marry their engine to their software. Same thing with Ferrari. And the others just have to wait until the engine arrives. And now these people, the customer teams, have to essentially find ways to marry these two. And that's taking time. And that's one of the biggest reasons why you see this insane crashes. Every time the car turns, it either supplies too much power or too little power, or it gives all the power to the torque, or it's just computers just not talking to each other, right? Which is insane and disastrous. I don't know why FIA is even letting it, but FIA, they don't care. They just do it. Roman Grosjean's car and the Haas car just split in two, and he was back in the race two races later. So I don't know. These racers are insane people, and they want to race regardless, even though it's so dangerous right now. I have no idea how F1 can be this bad and unprofessional. But I guess that's what we want. The audience wants F1, and then people want to be entertained. And yeah, basically all these engines are half baked. These cars are completely half baked. You're basically eating a bad brownie. That's what I feel. And yeah, we just have to wait and see until the middle of the season. My money's on McLaren to figure this out, and my money's also on Ferrari to screw this up. Yeah, Mercedes will figure this out. Mercedes historically have gotten better, and they'll use this mild advantage for their advantage more. They'll make the engines more tighter. Their issue right now is aero. These cars don't really need aero as much, but still aeros are required. And boost. Ferrari has a huge boost, whereas Mercedes is not. They have to figure out their starts. So McLarens have, Mercedes have very good starts, but Ferraris have them beat big time. And Ferrari has extraordinary drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are phenomenal drivers. You give them any reason, any advantage, and they'll take it. Basically, the unspoken rule of F1 is if there is a gap, you should take it. And Mercedes has done it. Mercedes and Ferrari have found a way to get their software and hardware to talk well. This is the main reason why the cars are not working. That's what we understand now. There'll be other things too, but this might be the main reason. Red Bull says I figure this out and do a better job in Suzuka. Also, Haas has a wonderful livery apparently, but whatever. Godzilla has, it's interesting. Regardless, yeah, Red Bull maybe RB had a very good livery for Japan. I'm hoping Red Bull also has it. We'll see. We'll see. By Japan, Red Bull will figure this out. That's what they're saying. I call bullshit. I think it'll take at least to the middle of the season. What else? What else? Okay. The Wheatley and the Newey saga continues. Uh, Basically, Mattia Binotto said, okay, get lost. And I think this guy's out. Jonathan Wheatley from Audi is already out. And they basically pulled a Toto Wolff with Hamilton. And they said, okay, you don't want to be with me? Get lost. And that's kind of what happened. So Wheatley's out, but Aston Martin has not officially confirmed Wheatley for some reason. We'll see what happens. It's obvious Wheatley's going into Aston Martin. We just have to wait and see. But there is a huge gardening leave and all. Yeah, my bet is you'll not see Wheatley in the next race, and it'll only be Binotto. And Binotto always wanted it. It's fine. Fine. Also, Williams. Williams has a new issue. Apparently, every time they turn, the car is on three wheels. It's like there is no downforce in that stupid car. For a heavy car, it has no downforce. What the hell? Uh, Crazy situation. I don't know. Williams, man, is one of my favorite teams. I hope they figure this shit out. Idiots. Yeah, that's it. That's all we have as F1 news. Let me see here. Is there anything interesting to talk about? Aston Martin is in shambles. I think we spoke about that. Yeah, Max got disqualified. Yeah, that's the thing with the news. So to recap, basically Max is not happy because you got to do a lot of unnecessary, complicated math to get a boost, and once you get a boost, it feels like a toy, not a real car. And he hates lifting and coasting. He's all about action in the corners. Hamilton and Leclerc are great because they're very technical people and technical stuff really help them. The engines and the softwares are not talking to each other. That's a big problem. FIA is to looking to change these regulations or something. Something will happen very soon. Regardless, at the moment Mercedes is going to dominate if they figure the shit out. Ferrari is also somehow lucked out into this. I hope they did it on purpose and didn't get lucky. Max Verstappen lost the GT thing. Even though he won, he got disqualified because of stupid errors. And Aston Martin sucks. Williams can figure this out, but it's on three wheels. Yeah, Aston Martin sucks. I have no hope for the stupid team. They should just pack up and leave. Yeah, that's it, I guess. Bye bye.